Yeah, it's time to move on. It's time to get going. What lies ahead, I have no way of knowing. But under my feet, baby, the grass is growing. Yeah, it's time to move on. It's time to get going.
One of the hidden jewels in Arizona that I've found was the Chiricahua National Monument, which is in southeast Arizona. It's about 40 miles south of Wilcox, Arizona. It definitely is out of the way. One of the things I found about it is that it's one of the most peaceful places I've ever been. Rather than describing it, I'll just describe my feeling as feeling a kind of peace that I haven't felt very often. There's a campground you need reservations for. All the roads are paved, but I would say with the number of people in the campground and the monument itself, I would be surprised if there were very many more than 100 people total. So there's all kinds of hiking and different activities. You can read about those. That's not really the purpose of my sharing this. It's saying that this is something that I wouldn't normally, had someone not recommended it, thought to come out of the way to check out. It's really not on the way to anywhere particular. It's a great place to explore. It's something not to overlook. Again, it's the Chiricahua National Monument. And of course, there have been federal funds that have come in here. Everything is top notch. There are food areas, there are bulk toilets, but in most of the major parking areas, which have maybe 25 or so spots to park, there are flush toilets. Water is available at the toilets, not from the toilets, but at the restrooms and at the visitor center and at the campground. I just want to point it out for those of you that might be watching this just because you're interested in the word Chiricahua or whatever, or if you're interested in some of the things that I've had to say or show. I just really endorse this place as a place worth coming to check out. It's not a place if you have a large rig. They don't allow rigs over 24 feet past the visitor center, but even then, there's not a whole lot of room to park at the visitor center if you have a big rig. I haven't seen a Class A here in the monument yet. Actually, haven't seen a Class C either. Of course, in the campground, there's ample room for what you might have. But again, the campground is probably a quarter of a mile, maybe a little further from the visitor center, and the length restriction is 24 feet. So, anyway, make your way down here. It's not because I want more people to see this, it's because I want to express how much this place feels to me and means to me. I am moseying my way back to Texas and taking my time, and this was just one of the places that I wanted to check just so I could make my own assessment of it. And it's made enough of an impression for me to make a video and make some comments about it. And it doesn't take long to go through. I mean, if you're going to hike, there's some wonderful hiking areas, which I haven't used any of, but a lot of people are. It's a wilderness area, so a lot of places are untouched or restricted to staying on the trail and the path, which is fine. There is no camping outside of the campground, no wilderness camping, as I understand it. There may be permits available somewhere, but I haven't seen any notice of it at all. And there is no charge for coming in. Technically, of course, when you go into a national park or monument, there would be a charge. There's no one at the gate, and there was nothing requested when I went to the visitor center. There was a place you could make donations, of course. So it's only about 8 miles from the beginning of the park up to the very end of the paved road. and a place called Masai Point. The rock formations and such that are here, they're either hoodoos or pillars or pinnacles, however you would like to, characterize them, but they're surprising. This is far enough away from the Grand Canyon that it's not like a carryover in terms of the topography of that type of area. But what's really cool here, and they talk about it in the history and the information here, is you have basically 4 different ecosystems that converge here. You have 2 different deserts and that type of flora, and then you have kind of a mountain where, 2 different kinds of mountain ranges, one from Mexico, the Sierra Madres. And a lot of the flora is the different ecosystems. You have the Rocky Mountain species of plants and pine trees and others. You have the Sierra Madre from Mexico type of plants. Again, different kinds of pines and oaks. You've got lots of junipers and different things here as well. Then you have the Chihuahuan Desert, basically from Mexico, and of course the Sonoran desert species. So we have all kinds of different things. I haven't seen things like saguaros, or ocotillos, or that kind of thing, but there are prickly pear cactus and different kinds of yuccas, and it's really kind of cool. I haven't seen a lot of animals, but they sport all kinds of animals, including one called the Coatimundi, and that's interesting because I didn't know that those were available to see. But unfortunately, I've only seen one squirrel, and that was squished on the road because whatever. It's a shame to see that kind of thing. I haven't seen any snakes or anything like that, but there are some here, and a type of rattlesnake that I hadn't heard of before called lap-tailed rattlesnake. So again, I have not seen many of these, but of course I have not been off of the paved trail very much. But the whole point of my sharing this is to encourage you to go, not just for a part of a bucket list, but I think you'll be surprised at the peace if you are a person who cherishes peace. All I can say is that if I was given the gift of peace here and a sense of peace here, then I'd like to pass that on to you. It's also very easy to be in a place. Have you ever asked yourself, have you ever been in a place where it was so quiet that you all of a sudden took notice, like something was so different? If we hear a loud sound or something like that, our attention is drawn to that. Where your attention is all of a sudden drawn to how quiet it is and peaceful it is. That's how it is. You can hear the wind blowing. So anyway, these are some of my ramblings about a place that I hope you take the time to check out, the Chiricahua National Monument in southeastern Arizona.
Far away from your troubles and worries, you belong somewhere you feel free. You belong somewhere